Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. Hope everything is going well out there, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. All right. A lot of things to be thankful for out here in these streets. Okay. The winter, I guess, is finally officially, at least in my neck of the woods, is finally officially, I guess, over. And it's hot as a mug out here. So hopefully you guys are all doing well, enjoying this beautiful weather and all that. And for those of y'all who are about to get hit with this crazy storms this evening, I hope you guys stay out of harm's way. Okay, but we got some things we have got to talk about. Things that kind of dropped and have been making waves over the last since last night. A lot of people are having discussions about this, and I'm going to be real. Ain't it crazy? Ain't it crazy when audio completely changes everything? You know, when we get the full scope of, well, we're not getting the full scope of this. We're only getting a portion. But still, audio, when you hear it, it's different than reading it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about that here in a second. But nonetheless, we got things to talk about. So get on in here. Get your butts all in here, because we got some things to talk about this afternoon. So please, or this morning / afternoon, wherever, whatever time you're watching this show right here. So hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Please and thank you. Don't forget to do that. Of course, while you're at it, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Go over to my other channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Please crush that subscribe button over there as well. Make sure you hit that notification bell here and over there as well. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because a lot of times it's either breaking news or it's random, okay? Your boy's busy outside of this purple ash room, okay? We got a lot of things to talk about, and we talk about a lot of different things on both platforms, all right? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, do not forget to check out PascalMerch.com. We got some great stuff over there, y'all. Man, the stuff over there is just redonkulous. Go check it out, okay? PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. We got to get into this. We got a conversation to have. Like I said just a second ago, man, does audio change a lot of things. It changes for sure. It can change the narrative of something. It could change the perspective of a certain mass crowd of people. It can answer a lot of questions, most importantly, about what happened in particular situations. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is heart-wrenching. This is very hard to hear, because you hear the absolute fear and frantic energy that is going on in that house or even outside that house. Some terrifying stuff. And then, of course, we hear even more information about what else is being said that actually isn't being written in the transcripts, which, by the way, that's a big problem. Wouldn't you think? That's a big, big problem, guys. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. That is not good, in my personal opinion. But of course, first off, let me get this members chat. First off, thank you so much. Almost 2 years, Savannah May. Thank you, Savannah. Morning to you too. Morning, everyone. Thanks for all the work you do, and prayers to your family. Thank you so much. Let's enjoy the sunshine and the fact we are all alive. Abso-freaking-lutely. All right? Because I know some of y'all are having a bad day right now. Okay? Some of y'all are having a bad day right now. And I'm just trying to remind you, shoot. It's better to be above the dirt than under the dirt. Okay? This too shall pass. You'll be fine. I promise you. breathe. In 15 minutes, you'll feel a lot better. I promise. All right. So we got to get into this conversation, okay? Positive vibes. Absolutely. Absolutely, Mandy. Okay. That's what we're all here for. Okay. And then, of course, talking about gloom and doom. I know it doesn't make any sense, right? It's strange, but that's what we're here for. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. We have got to take a look. We got to circle back and look at this transcript, okay? Because the transcription here is odd. And from what we're understanding now, could be inaccurate. And don't worry, I'll explain in a little bit. And honestly, we'll be hearing it in a little bit. Now, a YouTuber by the name of Gray Hughes Investigates. He has a YouTube channel. I highly recommend you guys go and check out his channel. He put out this particular video where he shared a portion of this 911 call on the channel. And of course, everybody who's been covering and following this Idaho 4 tragedy, it imploded. Okay? Because let's be real. We're finally getting some semblance of what the hell is going on. Some semblance of what the energy, what they sounded like. Audibly, we hear them terrified out their minds in this situation. And it answers a lot of things for me, for sure. But then it doesn't answer a bunch of other things too. So still there's things that are finally being answered, but then there's other things that I feel are still just kind of sitting on the side, sitting on the table, but there's kind of like, well, we still need to talk about that right there, which we are going to discuss in a little while as well. But we got to take a look at this transcript one more time before we go into the audio as well. All right. Because like I said, I want you to get the full scope of what's going on. So when we do listen to the audio, when we do check out this interview that Ashley Banfield had with Gray Hughes, he gives more information about what he heard that I guess he hasn't put out onto the internet yet or put onto his channel. And like I said, it's pretty wild stuff. And what he's saying is very interesting. Like the transcription is inaccurate. They're putting in things that weren't said, and they're leaving things out that were said that are very, very audible. Like you can very well make out what's being said in this 911 call, according to him. Okay. Because again, we've only heard a portion of this 911 call. We have not heard the whole thing yet. And when the whole thing does come out, ooh, baby, this is going to be interesting. But like I said, you can hear in it something's up. And we're going to hear that in just a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to hear a little bit more of what he heard, right? Because he had an interview with Ashley Banfield, and I definitely want to hear what he has to say. And also, I want to say this too, because everyone's going, oh, the audio's fake. It's AI. Allegedly, according to Ashley Banfield, which you are going to hear in the very beginning of this interview, before she does this interview with the guy, okay, she says that they checked it out, and it is indeed 110% authentic. So there you have it. I think that's very interesting as well. But let's take a look at this. Okay, we're just going through the transcription. Okay. And yes, Melissa, I would believe that they're going to be unleashing everything. Well, not everything, but most of everything. Okay. And I think that they want that 911 call out here for various reasons. Maybe to, I don't know, maybe to crush Brian Kohberger even more. Maybe to solidify that Brian Kohberger did this wrong. I don't know, right? I am kind of curious as to why they're going to unleash everything, but at the same time, I'm not complaining because I'm going to be real. I'm happy that they are releasing this information. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe, when somebody just said, Pierrette just said, how did Gray get the audio before media? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe he's filled out a FOIA request a long time ago, and now he received it. I have no idea. I don't know the tricks that he did to what things he had to do to make things happen. Regardless, they're saying that this audio is 110% real, which is very interesting nonetheless. All right. But before we get into that interview and that conversation, all right, this is very interesting. Okay. So, and it's important that we go through this because we're going to be circling back to this here after or during the interview as well. So, 911 location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. We have, what's the address of your emergency? 1122. No, don't. What's the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Now, again, before we continue, this is, it's when you're just reading it verbatim in black and white. I mean, shoot, you can interpret this in 15 different ways, right? You can. So again, very interesting. And Stacy, let me tell you. Okay, so for example, wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry, Stacy. For example, FOIAs. You can get FOIAs even while something's still going on. Trust me. Look at Madeline Soto. Perfect example. Okay, I haven't said her name in a long time. But remember Jenna and Pig Vomit? People are still getting FOIAs for that. And that case has not even seen the inside of that case has not even seen the inside of a trial or a courtroom at all yet. And people are still getting FOIA information, photos, interviews, etc., audio, and all that stuff. Right now, as we speak, there are people that are still covering Madeline Soto's situation. Okay, yes, his name is Pig Vomit. That's what I call him. And he forever shall be named Pig Vomit. Okay? Until there's another Pig Vomit. But he is Pig Vomit, in my personal opinion. All right? I don't even want to say his name. Okay? He's just Pig Vomit. But Madeline Soto, people are still getting the FOIA. Okay? Plenty of people are covering it. So you're good. You're good, Stacy. I'm just letting you know. So you can get all kinds of stuff. You can get body cam footage. You can get all audio, etc. if you fill it out. Sometimes you got to drop some serious coin. Sometimes you drop some serious coin for this kind of stuff. Okay, especially when it comes to video, audio. Shoot, sometimes they charge you per page, especially if it's documents. So it can be a hefty price getting this information. So he may have filled this out a long time ago and then finally got it, or it got leaked to him. I don't know. I can't speak for him. You see what I'm saying? I can't speak for him. Period. Point blank. All right. But you can hear in the audio, they are absolutely like shook. But it still does not make sense to me because we're going to read through this. Okay. So let's finish this really, really quick so we can get to this audio. Okay. Because I know everybody's here for that. All right. But also hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Y'all subscribe. Hit that like button. Dag nabbit. Okay. Your boy's working hard out here in these streets, man. Damn. All right. To give you guys the conversation and the information that you need for the day. So moving on. She says 1122. No, don't. This is what I'm assuming would be Dylan, right? What's the rest of the address? This is dispatch asking this, okay? 911 dispatcher asking this. What is the rest of your address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure I have it right? And then somebody else takes the phone. I'll talk to you guys. Where we live at the right, so we're next to them. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. What's the number that you're calling from? What's your number? Then Dylan says the number. She repeats it. What's the rest? Blah, 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 blah. She repeats it to confirm. Okay. Dispatcher repeats the phone number back to the person to confirm. No, I'm sorry. Dylan's friend, the neighbor, repeats it to the dispatch. Sorry about that. Okay. So she says, okay. Dispatcher says, okay. And tell me what's exactly going on. So then the friend or the neighbor says, one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. No, we saw, and that's what Dylan said off the phone. Like, she's not on the phone, but she's in earshot of everything, right? So she says, no, we saw, and then dispatch says, okay. And then the neighbor says, oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. So then Dylan grabs the phone, right? That's at least what I feel like it is. Grabs the phone, says, hi. And then dispatcher still trying to get more information. So she's asking the next question. And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Because she, of course, dispatcher's just doing her doggone job. So Dylan says, can I just tell you what happened pretty much? Dispatcher says, what's going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? Dylan says, I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m., dispatcher says, okay, I don't know I need to know what's going on right now. If someone's passed out, can you find that out? Dylan says, yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? Now, the thing is this could very well be a mixture of different people saying this. That is not only just Dylan saying all this. This could very well be like 3 different people having a conversation and it's all getting transcribed as if this is Dylan saying this. But I think it's 3 different people saying things all at the same time. Okay. Then dispatch says dispatching Moscow Law ambulance for, and that's when Dylan says she's not waking up. Unconsciousness, 1122 King Road. That's what dispatcher says. Then dispatch, it's like different lines going on at the same time. So then you got somebody calling back in saying 70 is en route. Like, we're on our way over there. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. That's what she says. And I'm assuming saying that to Dylan, who is on the phone still. Dylan says, okay, maybe dispatch says something about the something to dispatch or to the vehicles that are on their way to King Road. So she's repeating the address. Okay. All ambulance respond for unconsciousness, 1122 King Road. So I copy. That's another ambulance, or you know what I mean? An ambulance on its way. Dispatcher says something unintelligible. 58, multiple RPs on the phone. Advised saying the roommate on the scene is passed out and not waking up. Believes she is drunk. She got drunk last night and unintelligible about a male being in the room with them. So one of the vehicles responds. Okay, something being around. Dispatch says that that one I copy, about 20-year-old female unconscious, trying to get further. I guess I'm assuming trying to get further information at this point. So then that ambulance or cop, first responder, says copy. Then another person says, yeah, it's Evan. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody's calling on the other phone. You know what I mean? Maybe they're getting a text message or something like that, and there's somebody offline, not on the phone, but like in earshot, basically saying like, "I'm getting a text. It's from Evan." Maybe that's what was going on. I don't know, right? Just assumptions so far because we have not heard the full audio yet. So then Dylan's still on the phone, says, okay. Then so I'm assuming she's talking, the friend, A2, is talking to Dylan saying it's Evan on the phone, or it's Evan sending a text message or whatever, right? So Dylan's responding to that going, okay. Dispatch says, okay, how old is she? Dylan says, she's 20. Dispatch says, 20, you said? Dylan says, yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to him? And I'm thinking that she's saying that to whoever is right next to her. Maybe somebody came out of the house. Maybe all this stuff happened outside the house because obviously they're frantic, they're scared, they're terrified. Maybe somebody went inside, saw something, okay, and it was really bad, right? So then maybe she's like, do you want to talk to the dispatch? Because you saw what you saw. Why don't you come over here and talk to the dispatch? So then we don't have to play this weird game of telephone right now, okay? So then dispatch says, okay. Then this new person says, hello. Dispatch, okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. Okay, sorry. They just gave me the phone. Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay. And then, of course, somebody's dispatching in saying they're en route. Bethany or Dylan. So somebody's speaking to the person. I need you to talking to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. So then Dylan goes, okay, grabs the phone. Hello? Dispatcher. Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. Then Dylan says something unintelligible. Allegedly. The patient is not conscious, not breathing. She says something, again, unintelligible. I'm sure freaking the F out, right? Losing her mind. Because she's probably realizing even more now, the fact that she's not breathing, that means she's gone. And then you also got to remember, the fellas probably went into the house, ran up the stairs and saw what happened to Maddie and Kaylee, right? That's a possibility. So maybe she's finding out more information like, oh my God, what? More and more of her friends perished in that house. Just a thought. Dispatch, okay, if there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. So then Dylan says, we don't have one. I don't know why she says that. Maybe it was a bleed. Like maybe she thought that this dispatcher was talking to her. I don't know. So then somebody shows up. First responder shows up, unconscious, not breathing. So then Dylan asks, do you have a defibrillator? Then somebody else in the room says, yep. So then she says through the phone to the dispatcher, yes, we have one. Okay, but are you talking to the officer? She says, yes, I am, basically, right? Okay, I'm gonna let you go since he's there with you and can help you. She says, okay, thank you, bye. Then dispatcher says, okay. Another vehicle dispatching in says, radioing in says Moscow 46 out. Dispatch says copy. Then the same person says 13, I think we have a homicide, which is the weirdest thing to say. It is a bit weird. 13, I think we got a homicide. No, you got a homicide. Right? But moving on. Somebody else says Moscow engine 20 is en route. Then they go back and forth. Okay? Now, of course, we are going to get into this piece and hear some of this audio. Now, again, we were asking multiple questions on, hey, what actually happened here, right? The transcript sounds cold, sounds off, given the fact that they're sitting there saying, more importantly, the thing that really aggravates me is the fact that they're sitting there saying she's passed out. Friend was out drinking and she's passed out. When we read the transcript, it's weird, right? Seems a little bit odd, which I still want to know what the hell that means, right? But then you're going to hear some of this audio, which we are going to break down and play a couple times before we go throughout the rest of this interview. And I'm telling you right now, in the audio itself, they know for a fact something bad happened, y'all. This is not a thing of like, oh no, she drank too much and she's passed out. This sounds like something disturbing was seen by these girls. This is not a situation of, yes, of course, you're going to be terrified about your friend because of alcohol poisoning or they may have passed out or something like that. But this is something different. This is something different, y'all. So let's take a listen to this. And of course, Ashley Banfield says in the very beginning of this interview that this is indeed 110% authentic. This is not some fake AI thing like what we heard back in the day, a couple years ago, by another content creator that just made up some noises and said, oh, authentic audio from the actual unalivings of these four. No, they are saying that this checks out as to be real. Hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button. Let's rock and freaking roll.
Let me start now here with this unbelievable breaking news. We now have heard for the very first time the frantic and chilling first report of a slaughter at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. It came in the form of a 911 call from the surviving housemates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, when they realized that their friends and fellow students hadn't just overslept or hadn't just slept somewhere else. Exactly how they realized this and what exactly they knew when they called the police, that part is still not completely clear. But a true crime YouTuber named Gray Hughes, who has heard the audio of the entire 911 call, has released the first 30 seconds of that call. And we have independently confirmed that the tape is authentic.
The only other thing I could say real quick before we get into it, because we're going to hear the first 30 seconds here in just a few seconds. Why not? I'd love to hear the whole thing, right? So I wonder why the whole thing hasn't been put out. But like I said, it'll eventually get out there. Okay. The full audio will be out, I'm sure, soon enough. Okay. But let's continue.
Here it is.
Crazy.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay, I'm going to roll that back. I'm sorry, guys. Just letting you know. Okay. I'm just running that back. Fair warning. Okay. But I believe that there's things in there that I'm sure are going to be dissected and chopped up and screwed and all that stuff. But this is terrifying stuff. But now you hear it. And to me, I'm telling you right now, before we replay this, you got to miss me with the nonsense of them not knowing what the hell's going on. They know what's up. Just from that audio, she can barely talk, y'all. So it's still interesting that we're getting information of, at least in that transcript, that transcription, I'm sorry, that they're saying that she was unconscious and that's it. It just seems, come on, y'all. They are in absolute shock and they're terrified. Probably the things of nightmares they're seeing right in front of their face. It's just something to think about, right? But let me play some more.
Here it is.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
That's crazy. Now, again, if this is proved to be authentic, if this is proved to be real, then I'm telling you right now, this is insane. This is insane. Again, if this is real, again, they say that this is authentic, right? They say that this is authentic. Hold on. So again, this is very, very interesting, but we're going to play a little bit more of this. Okay. But when you hear this, this sounds terrible and terrifying, right? And see, that's weird. Like, I mean, if this is fake, if that is fake, then wow, people have nothing but time on their hand. You know what I mean? Like, that's really messed up if this is all like, people have nothing but time on their hands to put something out here like that. That's terrifying, right? That's sad if that's the case. To me, this sounds like people who are freaking the F out, scared out of their wits. They are seeing stuff of nightmares that they've never thought that they would ever see. They're young, but see, no matter what, even if you're young, it doesn't matter what age you are. This is still terrifying information. But then at the same time, I could see the other side of the fence of where some people get really upset, right? They're wondering about how could they have heard noises all night and not once call 911 until the following morning, damn near the afternoon. Why would they do that? Now, I get the fear. I get being, you can even hear it in the voice. Again, if this 911 call is 110% real, News Nation is saying that it is authentic, that is 100% real. Now, if they've said something different, that'll be news to me, right? But this 911 call, real talk, for them to come out and you could hear it in their voice, kind of makes sense why they were so terrified, right? So again, I'm curious, yo. Like I said, if News Nation is sitting here saying and I'm gonna roll that back so you guys can hear the beginning of it, because they said we did our cross references, we did our due diligence, and they said we found out that this is absolutely 110% authentic.
Heard for the very first time the frantic and chilling first report of a slaughter at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. It came in the form of a 911 call from the surviving housemates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, when they realized that their friends and fellow students hadn't just overslept or hadn't just slept somewhere else. Exactly how they realized this and what exactly they knew when they called the police, that part is still not completely clear. But a true crime YouTuber named Gray Hughes, who has heard the audio of the entire 911 call, has released the first 30 seconds of that call. And we have independently confirmed that the tape is authentic. Here it is.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. So you're hearing this too, right? And I guess the question is, For me, the question is, one, if this is the full, if this is truly the audio, okay, if this truly is the audio, which of course we're hearing that News Nation did their due diligence, saying that it is indeed the 911 call, and I know that there's going to be people out there that are going, no, this is not real. That's fine. I get it. There are going to be people who are going to believe it, and there's going to be people who don't believe it. But I am kind of curious as to when and why hasn't the full audio been put out? Right? Like I said, why only 30 seconds? That's the only thing I would say. And even so, that's not even 30 seconds, y'all. This is probably 8 seconds long. So I am curious as to why, if they have the full audio, why not just put out the full audio? But then at the same time, like, I don't know, maybe it's to entice viewers to want to see the show and watch and hear the whole full 911 call. That could be it too. And hey, I'm not here throwing any shade on that. I mean, if that's how you do it, that's how you do it. But it definitely causes or poses a discussion, right? Where people are going to be like, hey, why release 30 seconds? Show everything then, right? But again, how people operate is how they operate, right? I mean, that if that's how you want to make your money, that's how you make your money. It is what it is, right? But I can see why some people are going to ask questions on if this is authentic or not. But we're hearing from News Nation themselves that this is indeed authentic. So that's very interesting as well, right? Now, let's continue, because again, I would hope that people out there are not just putting out information, just for the sake of messing with people's heads. That would be really bad. I don't think that, this content creator would do something like that. I really don't. I err on the side of people are good, and, he got the audio. And so of course there's going to be a little bit of pushback, right? Of course there's going to be people asking, does he have it? Does he really have it or not? You know what I mean? That's understandable when you're only getting 30 seconds. But 30 seconds nonetheless, even just the few seconds that we just heard, it's a lot. It's a lot.
After listening to that, and from what Gray has told us about the rest of the tape, we now know that a written transcript that was released last week and reported on this program was not a complete representation of everything that was said, and of course, how it was said. For one thing, some key moments of the call are just missing from the transcript. But snippets of dialogue that aren't even on the recording are somehow included on the transcript. And obviously the words on the page, as you now have heard, they don't even come close to conveying the terror and the panic and the desperation on the part of those young callers. Here's an example from when the dispatcher says that help is on the way. According to the transcript, dispatcher says, okay, one moment, I'm getting help started that way. And the woman says, okay, and maybe. And the dispatcher, unintelligible, says, 1122 King Road, all ambulance respond for unconsciousness, 1122 King Road. Then another woman says, I copy. But the actual recording of the call is different. What's heard is, dispatcher says, okay, one moment, I'm getting help started that way. A woman says, what's wrong? Followed by 23 seconds of deep breathing and the words, poor Kaylee.
Now, very interesting, right? Hold on. I want to check this to see if this is the real deal.
2022. 911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the
Oops.
address?
Oh, Kings Road.
That was just the beginning of the 911
So yeah, it's just
people to several people
hold on, guys.
released to the public.
Yeah, what's interesting is, a lot of places are only giving the first few seconds, which is still terrifying stuff, guys. I mean, shoot, it sounds real to me. I will say that. All right. Now, hydrodynamic, I will say passing around I don't think it's sus. I really don't. I really don't know. I really don't see it as being suspect. Just to be completely real, I don't see it being sus. I see it being as someone that you are literally losing your mind, scared out your mind. You got people who are crumbling as they're trying to talk to 911. Probably realizations are washing over them simultaneously as they're trying to give out the simplest answers, like what is their address? They probably don't even remember their first name at this moment. If they were asked their birthday, they probably will sit there and go, they won't even know because they're so traumatized, right? So they're so deeply moved that somebody else has to take control over the phone. So you have to put that in consideration too, okay? I don't see this as sus. I see this as a situation of people scared out their minds, y'all. Scared out their minds and going, I cannot believe that all of this is happening right now. This is and for them, the worst hangovers they've ever had, I'm sure, because they're sitting there going, what is going on? The only thing that I find weird is that they're sitting there saying that she's passed out. And if they're really freaking out the way that they're freaking out, if they're, have literally, like they was literally having panic attacks on the phone, right? Shortness of breath, shallow breathing, to the point where they could literally pass out right there. I find it weird that they would sit there and say, she's passed out. If she gone, she gone. And if she's visibly gone, she's gone. But the other part that I found interesting too in the transcript, which we will be circling back in a little bit, they sit there and they say, you have dispatch calling in, or not dispatch, probably a cop, or maybe a paramedic or something like that, saying, I think we have a homicide. How how can you think it's a homicide if you got a girl gone and there's blood everywhere? I'm just saying it's not like oh gosh, this is not an episode of CSI where it's like, oh my gosh, I think we have a homicide. You know what I'm saying? Cut to a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. You know what I'm saying? This is real life. So why would they say, I think we have a homicide? It just doesn't make sense to me, guys. It just doesn't. Personally, it doesn't, right? But let's continue. But here, Maddie Ice, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. The tone of the dispatcher freaks me out. Well, you also got to remember, the dispatcher doesn't know what they're going to receive on the other end of the phone. And they kind of have to be very businesslike. They can't sit there and go, oh no, like, those movies that we've seen where you see like Halle Berry on the phone with the girl who's been kidnapped in the car, and she's sitting there going, no, and she's all emotional and stuff. They don't do that. It's very, very, very like middle of the road, very matter of fact. What's the address? What do we need to do? Right? Give us the facts. So yeah, the tone of the dispatcher seems a bit cold, a little bit callous, but that's part of the job. We need you to give me the information so I can get the people to you. I'm not a detective. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paramedic. I'm not a detective. What I need you to do is give me the information so I can get those people to you as quickly as possible. So they are responding very calloused because it shaves down time. You understand? If they're like, oh, sweetheart, oh my gosh, that's cutting down time. That's a moment that they can be dispatching the proper vehicle, the proper people to wherever that crime or that tragedy happened. You see what I'm saying? They can't take it and make it a personal thing. They got to go straight to the meat and potatoes, right? Katie Cat, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. So again, like I said, that's some serious stuff. But again, let's continue on. All right, because there's some things in here that I want to discuss with you guys. And we're not listening. We're not going to watch this whole doggone thing, but just take a look. Remember, dispatch is going to be cold. That's their job. It's not like they don't care. They're doing it because they care, and it's their job, right? So let's continue on, though.
Then a man says, get out, let's get out, followed by what sounds like heavy footsteps going down a staircase. So what exactly does that tell us? It stands to reason that the dispatcher was switching between different lines, the King Road callers on one line and first responders on another line. And apparently those other conversations were included in the transcript. The man's exclamation, get out, let's get out of here. Well, that could possibly indicate that Dylan and or Bethany or the visitors actually went into Xana's room, or maybe upstairs to Kaylee's room, at which point their worst fears could have been realized. Or it could mean they saw something else. I'm joined now by someone who's heard the complete recording of the 911 call for himself. Gray Hughes is a popular true crime vlogger. He's host of the YouTube channel Gray Hughes Investigates. Gray, wow.
Real quick though, too, I do want to say this because I know a lot of people I've been seeing on social media. Everyone's kind of asking the same question, which I get. I get the question. Like why would he get the access to this and nobody else and all that stuff? And I will say this. I mean, at the end of the day, if I believe this to be a real audio, and sometimes people get a leak. Sometimes people get access to things before anybody else, and I truly believe he may have dropped his coin for this. And there's nothing wrong with that. If he dropped a coin for it and he got the audio, then so be it. He got the audio. You see what I'm saying? If he got it before everybody else, he got it. You see what I'm saying? So again, I believe this to be true. I believe this to be the real audio. And I will say this, if I just don't see, I've seen other people just fabricate stuff and make things up for the sake of, securing a bag. And I'm telling you right now, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't see it with this situation. I just don't. I think that he's doing what he needs to do to make sure he can secure the bag for himself or get his money back for what he invested in. Okay. And that's basically it. Now, I don't know if Plunder has it. I mean, she did put up a video a little bit ago. We may take a listen to that video here in a second. In fact, actually, let's take a listen to it now. Let's just take a listen to the first few seconds of it real quick. Because some of it's News Nation. Hold on, guys. But yeah, like I said, this is very interesting, and I could see the debate percolating out in these streets. Okay, but I believe this audio to be real. I really do. I mean, and if I'm wrong, I will tell you guys. I'll be like, wow, fooled me, right? But I truly believe this to be real. Now, if it was a thing where other content creators work together to pay for this audio, like if Plunder was involved in paying for this as well, then it's real. I think Plunder's a great content creator as well. So I believe, and I don't see Plunder being that type. I just don't. So if she paid for it, if she was involved in paying for it and getting this audio, then this is the real deal Holyfield, y'all. Okay? This is the real deal Holyfield. But let's take a listen to this really, really quick. Shout out to Plunder as well. All right. And if you don't know about her, go check her out. She's got some really great content. It's just Plunder. Plundr. Okay. Fantastic content creator.
So the address? Oh, Kings Road.
Okay, as of this recording, we've only got about 30 seconds of that Idaho 4 911 call. I'm not sure why we only have 30 seconds of it.
Okay. So she didn't get it. Okay. She even said it herself. She you just heard it. I don't know why we only have 30 seconds of it. That's what she literally said. So she's not involved in this. All right. So there you have it. But at the same time, I will say I still believe this to be real. I still do believe this to be real. But let's continue.
Idaho
I just want to hear what else she has to say for just a few more seconds, and then we're gonna go back to this interview. Okay.
4 911 call. I'm not sure why we only have 30 seconds of it, but Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates just appeared on Ashley Banfield's show named Banfield, and perhaps they will put up his entire appearance on YouTube. So I probably won't put it in this video, but I just watched the whole thing. It's a great appearance wherein Gray has heard the entire 4-minute or so 911 call. And so we get to hear what the differences are between the transcript and the 911 call.
Okay. So she has no connection to this whatsoever. So there you have it. Okay, guys, just so you heard a little bit of it, because I was like, if she's involved, then shoot, that changes any speculation for any person, in my personal opinion. But I think it's very important that we hear a portion of this interview, regardless if you believe it or not. I believe it to be true. I really do think that he got the audio. This is the 911 call. And I will say that I was wrong if it is not real. But I just don't see somebody destroying their whole career fabricating something like this. I just don't. So let's take a listen to the interview, okay? Because he does say some things here that are serious and very thought-provoking, okay? So let's take a listen to this here.
That is really hard to hear. And I think I've read your transcript. I've seen your blog about this, and I think you're really on point. No one can see on a page what was conveyed by the voices on that call. Do you agree?
Yeah, I really appreciate what you said at the beginning. I think the attacks on Dylan and Bethany over the 2 years have just been horrendous. I actually think that they should have released the audio much earlier, because you absolutely can hear how terrified Dylan is. It's hard to tell when Dylan or Bethany is speaking, if Bethany is speaking much at all. It seems like Dylan is on the call most of the time, and that's just what my perception is. But when you listen to it, man, they're just absolutely terrified. I sort of have a vision of that maybe they went up the stairs and sort of looked down the hallway, towards Xana's room, and could see her body on the ground, and never really went to the room, and they were just too scared to go verify their fears, something like that.
I keep thinking that the door was locked. I keep thinking that Xana's door was locked, because had anybody actually opened the door and taken a look inside, which you would do if you're trying to reach your roommate who's not answering her door, right? You would open it and say, wake up, we're going to brunch, whatever it was. The call would have been a very different call. There would have been even more terror. There would have been more descriptions. There would have been a help. There would have been a lot more. So I wonder at the point, and I'll get here in a moment with you, but I wonder at the point where the boys' voices start saying, get out, let's get out of here. And you can hear them all, what sounds like going down the stairs and possibly outside, that maybe either they broke down that door, or maybe they could see under the bottom of the door with an iPhone light or something, and maybe they got a glimpse of something that was terrifying, but didn't know what the entire picture was. But let
me just say this. I don't agree with that last part. I don't think people are going to be looking underneath a door next to a body that could be gone, especially if they're this terrified. I can see them maybe seeing the room, seeing the space that Xana was in, and maybe the condition that she was in, and then say, oh my God, what's going on here? But still, for me, it's weird that they would say that she's passed out. It just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Okay.
Let me draw your attention to one thing that you heard and wasn't on the transcript. And then when we were able to go over that, you're absolutely right. There was the name Kaylee was mentioned, and it's not on the transcript. And you picked it out very, very quickly. It said, poor Kaylee. This was a girl's voice, right? Saying, poor Kaylee.
And it's kind of a whisper.
There are a couple
too.
scenarios that could be, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, it's
what'd you just
it's
say?
actually a whisper. Well, I was going to say it was a whisper. It was like, she was like, poor Kaylee, kind of like that, like just a whisper. And it sort of makes you wonder, like, remember how she tried calling her in the morning and texting, and they never got a response? So maybe after they saw what happened to Xana, she realized that the same thing likely happened to Kaylee. That's kind of how I picture
wondered
it.
that,
Or it's
Gray.
possible. Yeah, go ahead.
Or I know that Kaylee and Xana were close. And so if something had happened to Xana, perhaps this is a roommate saying, oh my God, poor Kaylee, when she finds out about this. That's another possibility because if you're just whispering poor Kaylee, I think you would be saying more to the 911 operator saying, and there are other potential victims here.
She's got a point there. There'd be maybe you would be saying everything you can, but at the same time, though, as she is trying to tell them in the first place that there was a person in the house, that there was a man seen in the house the night before, dispatch kept on saying, can you please stop passing the phone around? I'm trying to get an understanding of what's going on. Now I've talked to 4 different people. Then, she's like, I'm trying to tell you what's going on. But of course, she's got a tidal wave of emotions going on all at the same time. She just saw, she just witnessed, they all just witnessed a gruesome crime scene, from what I understand. It's not like this monster had time to clean up after himself if it was only just one attacker, right? So again, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I feel like the place would be, it would definitely be covered in red. There would be I just saw somebody say a stench. Absolutely. There would be a smell throughout the entire house. Okay? Of all kinds of smells, okay, coming from the body. You got to remember, some bodies even relieve themselves when they are passing away, okay? So there's all kinds of different things that are going on in that space. Like, I don't know, guys. It's just so odd. But let's hear, okay? Let's hear. I want to know, I would love to get my hands on this audio, for sure.
They're not just
the full audio.
My roommate is unconscious. One person.
Yeah, that makes sense. She could be referring to it like that, or it seems like at some point maybe they went around looking around, but never wanted to actually go into rooms to verify it. Like, I just picture these two being so scared, and once you verify the reality of the situation, that's when you're truly horrified. So they sort of avoided that as long as they could, and then when the friends came over, I think they took Bethany's phone, called 911, and then that's when they got on the call, and then had to actually go to Xana's room at some point. So
yeah, and well, let's talk about that, because this house, I've mentioned this before on this program, prior to these girls moving in, this was a separate rooming house. So people rented rooms and they used the shared kitchen, living room, etc. But they had locks on all of these rooms. And I think it was Kaylee's dad who said he'd either been there a few weeks prior to them moving in, or Xana's dad had been there prior to moving in and changing the locks. So we know there were locks. We just don't know whether the doors were locked. Maybe Kaylee's room was locked upstairs, if the killer went out and closed it behind him or her, and if Xana's room was closed and locked. We don't know that, but it would stand to reason that this, and you tell me, because you've heard the whole call, Does this sound like the phone call from 20-somethings who have seen a virtual bloodbath?
It sounds like they weren't aware until the guy goes to the room. I don't know if the name Evan or whatever it was on there. He goes to the room and he looks, and you can hear him. That's when he's like, "Get out, let's get out." And I think you hear him breathing really hard. It might be him breathing hard and Dylan combined. But I mean, I think the look on his face is why Dylan made that comment about, I think she said, "What's wrong?" That you would be saying that to somebody who has a face of horror.
Hold on. We're coming back to this, I promise. But we are cross-referencing as best as we can. And here it is. This is what I'm talking about. Right here. Says right here, okay. So hold on, guys. So then here it is, okay? Y'all, I'll come on. We got to go check, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? Maybe that what's wrong, and is she passed out? She's passed out. That whole thing right there. Maybe they ran up to go check things out. The guys were still in the space as well. So they find out that Xana is, like, of course, passed out. She's unconscious, but also maybe that Evan guy ran up the stairs to maybe knock on the door and go, guys, you know what I mean? Maddie, Kaylee, hey, something's up. Xana's on the ground. Come on. You see what I'm saying? Maybe that's what was going on. I don't know, right? And then they open the door and they see carnage, right? So maybe that's what it was. Again, then she's like, "What's wrong?" So maybe she sees Evan coming down the stairs and his face is white as a ghost, right? And she's like, "What's wrong?" So maybe that's what was going on. Like you're just hearing even more information as you're trying to give information about Xana. Then suddenly you're like, "Oh snap! There's other people gone too upstairs. They're passed out upstairs." And he's like, "No, no, they're gone." You know what I mean? But there's no, like I said, it just seems so odd to me that they would sit there and say that she's passed out initially, when to me it would just be a dead giveaway that a tragedy happened, right? A crime happened in that space. But let's continue on. I think this is very telling and very interesting stuff. Especially, let's not forget the other part too, where it's like poor Kaylee being said under their breath. Now, again, that could mean poor Kaylee because she lost her life. Maybe they didn't get the full information about Maddie at that time. And from my understanding, I hate to say this, but wasn't one of them on top of the other? Wasn't one found on top of the other? You see what I'm saying? Wasn't that the situation? I thought that there was one found, like Kaylee or Maddie were found on top of each other or something like that. Something wild like that. So what are the chances of somebody going upstairs and only seeing at face value? They didn't run up and get a close look. Maybe they just opened the door and said, "Oh my God," you know what I mean? And then ran. And they're like, "Well, that's Kaylee's room." And Kaylee, you see what I'm saying? Oh, okay. She was slumped over next to Maddie. Thank you. Okay, I could have sworn it was like one was on top of the. Like I said, it's been years, guys. So just be nice. All right. It's been years with all the details, because there's been so many different stories. Okay. So I appreciate that. So apparently they were leaned up against the wall And yeah. Okay. So Kaylee was against the wall. Man, that's crazy. Still, no matter what, you're seeing that. Maybe that's the first thing you see. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's some scary stuff. Nonetheless, that's some scary, scary stuff. Okay. Let's continue on. But that's insane. I can see them maybe even walking in, right? Maybe they walked in and all they saw was her slumped over. And then they freaked out. They didn't even look at the rest of the room. All they saw was her slumped over. And they're like, ah, and they ran downstairs. Because that's terrifying no matter what. You know what I mean? You're scared, man. You're walking in, you see Xana on the floor. Oh my God. You know what I mean? You know that Ethan's there, but maybe you're too scared to look around the corner, look into the bedroom, right? But then you go upstairs to check on the other girls, and then all of a sudden the girls are found, or you at least see one. You see Kaylee on the floor, you know what I mean? Leaned up against the wall, slumped over. Oh my God. It's the first thing you see. Oh my God, Kaylee. Oh, God. No. We got to get out of here. We got to get downstairs. Get out. Come on down. We got to go. Crime scene. This is bad, right? So like I said, there's so many things to process all at the same damn time, right? So many things to process at the same time. And those things could all very well be possible when this situation goes down.
And I think that's where that came from. And I mean, just listening to it is I don't think anybody really knew for certain what was going on until they made the 911 call and then went to the room itself and looked in and tried to wake her up.
Gray, can I ask you this as well? There's a lot of confusion with this dispatcher, and the dispatcher says a couple of times, "Stop passing the phone around. I need to keep one person on and get a clear story." And after your report, having heard the footsteps going down the stairs, get out, let's get out. It made me wonder if some of the boys had witnessed something terrible, wanted everyone out of the house because it looked like maybe a killer was still in the house, as awful as that scene could be, and did not want to let on to Bethany and Dylan just how horrible it really was. And thus, they were quite reticent on the phone when they got on with the 911 operator and wanted to hand it back to Dylan.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it seems like at one point you can hear one of them say, "Oh my God," and then something. It's really quiet though, so I don't really have it in the notes, but I definitely can hear "Oh my God," and then the name Xana, trying to wake Xana up twice, and then somebody I think says the word "dead" in there. And so I don't know if, like, when Dylan heard that, she just, wants to say, "Oh, she's still not, she's unconscious still," because doesn't want to accept that. I mean, it's really brutal, even though, it's only a 4-minute call and you just hear different things. But, the portion where the male goes to the room and looks in, and you can tell that he's looking in, and Dylan's likely back by the stairs or something. And then he comes back and she's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And then they go down the stairs, and that's when you hear the breathing deeply, and that's, and her demeanor gets even more freaked out at that point.
Yeah, I think that this is incredibly important to realize, in my personal opinion, and I think in a lot of other people's opinion, that I believe that Dylan and Bethany have nothing to do with this crime. I do think that there's certain things that are weird during the time that this whole crime went down to the time that the bodies were found. It is very strange, right? But does that mean that they had something to do with this? No. I truly believe that they were terrified out of their minds and did not know what to do. That's what it was. These are young women in college. Didn't know, I'm just saying, did not know what to do in that situation. Like, just, that's crazy, guys. Period, point blank. That's some scary, scary stuff. Okay. But again, I really don't think it's a situation where they have something to do with it. But again, I don't know. like I said, I want to hear, that's just my theory. That's what I think. Okay. But I do think it's interesting. Okay. I know a bunch of you guys have been saying this too, and it is true. This video was up and then it was taken down. This very video, bingo, bango. This very video was taken down. I don't know why it was taken down. This is the same situation like when Ashley Parham, if you've been following the Diddy situation, Ashley Parham did an exclusive interview with Ashley Banfield with her lawyer, Ariel Mitchell Kidd. They took it down. Like it was up for a few seconds, for a few hours, and then it was taken down. But then they re-uploaded it a couple days later. So they might be holding on to this and putting it back on. You know what I mean? And uploading it over the weekend because it is such a big conversation. But it is it does make me curious as to why it was taken down. That does, real talk, it doesn't mean that they, that they found out it's not a real audio or that, the interview went haywire. No, it could mean a multitude of different things, guys. It really, really can. But for me, just hearing that audio, and again, if it is 110% authentic, like News Nation said it was, I take their word for it. And to me, okay, for me, I look at this and I say, this gives us more insight on what happened here, and that there could be a lot of miscommunication happening all at once because everyone's frantically scared. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. They don't know what to do with themselves, etc. There's so many factors to put into this situation, guys. You're young, you're terrified, you're in college, you never thought in your life any of something like this would ever happen to you. You're living a life of privilege. I hate to say it like that, but you're living the good life. You're enjoying college, having a great time, going to kegers, doing your thing, party, and then all of a sudden everything comes to a screeching halt. Meaning on a dime, 1 second you're having a grand old time, the next minute your roommates are all gone. Except two of them, except yourself and one of your other roommates. And that's it. Like that's crazy. And yeah, frozen shock phase. I get it. I know some people are like, "Oh, that's BS. That's cap. That's all lies." Listen, I can see somebody being so terrified that they don't even know what to do with themselves. I have seen people so terrified that they wet their pants. Frozen, not knowing what to do. They're just sitting there urinating on themselves. I've seen that with my own two eyes. Real talk. Okay. We've all seen, hopefully not everybody is, okay. Hopefully not everybody is, hopefully not everybody goes through or witnesses traumatic experiences like that to the point where you see somebody like mess themselves, okay, because they're so terrified. But it's real, guys. It's real. They don't even know what to do. It's the fight or flight situation, or freeze. It's kind of fight or flight or freeze. But I've seen people who just stand there and they don't know what to do. Everything just locks up. Their mind checks out. They're just physically they're there, but they're mentally somewhere else. It happens. Okay. So again, I think it's fair to have your questions, fair to have your theories. But for right now, we should be looking at the information that they have given us so far. And if there are other content creators with the actual full 30 seconds of this audio, that says something. If they got it on their own, as well, that says something. That means that this audio is out there. And maybe they're only getting 30 seconds. I have no idea. It just seems weird because at least Gray says he has the full 4 minutes, 4 and some odd 4 minutes and some odd seconds of this audio. He was able to break it down to us. I'm not going to play that whole interview here, okay? But you can hear it all, okay? And again, I get that people have their theories. I get that people think whatever they want to think, because we've had 2 years to sit on our hands. Real talk, to sit on this case, on these theories. And what happens? It gets more and more complicated. People come up with their theories, and it gets to the point where we're talking about ancient aliens. Real talk. Okay? It's gotten to that place. It has. All theories have been exhausted. All of them. And now we're getting more and more information. So I guess, we sit back, we wait for more to leak or more to come out, and then we get what we need to get. But I get it. Everyone has their theories. You're rightfully allowed to have your own theories, right? But again, we'll see what happens. Okay? We'll see what happens with everything. Again, just hearing that little snippet, that gives you some insight on how hysterical everybody was. Everybody was in hysterics. They didn't know what to do, right? So interesting theories, you guys. Okay. Interesting theories, y'all. A lot of you guys are going to have a lot of y'all are going to have your theories. And that's fine. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. But again, I want to hear the full 911 call. I think a lot of us do, right? I think all of us want to hear the full 911 call. Hold on, let me check one thing. Let me just check one thing. Let's see here. Let's see about this.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Yeah. Real talk. It's
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
911 location.
yeah. I mean, that's literally it's technically like 25 seconds, but that literally is that is the audio that has been leaked. Literally 25 seconds of what we heard is literally the 30 second, 28 second clip that was teased. Okay. And again, if somebody went out of their way to make a fake 911 call revolving around this, one, they are some diabolical mother lovers. Okay. May God have mercy on their souls. And again, whoever did that, hopefully it's unearthed. But like I said, News Nation did their due diligence and they said that it is 100% authentic. That says a lot. That says a lot. But I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. But I do believe it to be real. Okay. I do believe it to be real. This is some crazy stuff, though, guys. Crazy, crazy stuff. But what say you guys? What are your thoughts on this? Do you, like I said, does this confirm your theories even more? Does this answer any questions, or does this bring up more questions for you? Something to think about, okay? You know, Jesse, you know what? Good question. Let me just say this. I don't know what makes it real. I just feel like that audio just seems so real to me. That's all. I mean, it's literally a gut reaction. I have nothing else I could say about that. It's just a gut reaction, guys. Straight up a gut reaction. Like I said, I could be absolutely wrong. I could have been bamboozled just like everybody else that's believing this audio to be real. And if it's not real, then we're going to find out soon enough. But like I said, again, I believe it's real. I believe that you have people that are freaking the F out. Rightfully so. You can even hear in the background, people are screaming in the background because they're all freaking out too. Like I said, it's like what a theater group of actors decided to make an audio tape surrounding the 911 call of the Idaho 4 unalivings. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It just really doesn't, guys. I believe this to be real. I think it's terrifying. And it puts you right there in the action when these kids find out that their roommates are all gone. Scary stuff, guys. Really, really scary stuff. But that is the show, guys. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Okay. Please do me a favor before we head out. Do me that solid. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. And yeah, keep the conversation going in the family chat down below on the replay. Love to hear your thoughts. Okay. This is, man, I could never imagine being in their shoes at all. But hit that like button down below. Crush that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. Check out my other platforms. Okay. Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Make sure you are following on those platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Crush that subscribe button over there, please, and thank you. Hit that notification bell. Turn it to all so you know whenever I go live on both platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Okay, guys. Anyway, it's time to get going. If there's more updates revolving around this, you know for a fact we're going to talk about it. Okay? But I appreciate you guys for being here. Talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.